After experimenting further with the Centurion scabbard, I have officially found my favorite way to play it. The modifiers have allowed us to push our builds to a whole new level, and this one is no exception. Presenting Centurion Shock. Designed with the countdown game mode in mind, it provides control and puts out massive amounts of damage, while also providing bonus armor to the team. Thanks to the point-blank passive modifiers, we're able to build in ways we couldn't before. Like Retribution, providing large portion of the needed crit chance so it doesn't need to be on the build. In this case, I can stack crit attributes and status effects without having to sacrifice damage. Additionally, because of the modifier drawback, we're getting a large amount of weapon handling. Then, combined with one-piece Legatus brand set bonus 30% swap speed, we can now swap lightning fast. That's where the Centurion scabbard comes in. There's no stipulations or cooldowns, so we can swap to Elmo, pop a shot, and switch back, while still maintaining the buffs. While testing, I discovered something interesting. It's well known the very powerful Impatient modifier has a pretty nasty downside. Minus 30% reload speed and a massive cut to the mag size is hard to justify. But the Centurion eliminates this downside with its second buff. So when you swap to your second weapon, it will be given increased mag size, completely removing the Impatient debuff. Then, when you swap away from your second weapon, it refills the clip without the need to reload. So basically, you just get the huge increase to rate of fire. So since Elmo already has a large clip, I make it receive the first buff. When refilling your shock ammo give you an extra damage, then increase the rate of fire even further. You'll build 100 stacks very quickly this way, so that you can get back to dealing the big damage with the Cabaret. Because we're using the holster this way, it makes the whole combo very smooth and consistent. Running the buffs in the opposite order, however, completely fails to maintain the rhythm and is not nearly as effective. So be sure that your buffs are lined up correctly. Now let's break down the rest of the build. You're going to need 3-piece electric, but not just any 3 pieces. First up, the name backpack, Lavoisier, sporting perfect galvanized. The big standout for me here is that unlike the normal version of the talent is that the bonus armor applies to yourself as well. Then the reason for the single blue core on the build, since the bonus is determined by your armor value, and after several days of adjusting the core's 5 reds and 1 blue was the sweet spot for me. Next, electric named chest piece Henry with perfect companion, which is odd because companion is normally on the backpack. I designed this build for countdown so companion isn't hard to maintain, but if you want to use it solo, just swap an obliterate chest piece instead. They are both 20% total weapon damage multipliers, so you will get the same result. Unbreakable, trauma, and even intimidate are also fine. The third piece can be a mask or knee pads, but the challenge with these electric pieces is that you need to find them with status and crit damage already on them so you can change the core. And of course, the firm handshake Sokolov named gloves for their blatant synergy with the electric brand set. But it's very important to have status effects on all 5 of the high-end pieces in order to get the longest duration possible on the shock. And ideally crit damage is the other, but make sure you're sitting at around 35% crit. Hit chance to utilize the average 25% provided by Retribution, so adjust your mods accordingly. When it comes to choosing your skills, try to utilize ones that will trigger the galvanized talent. The Banshee Pulse, Riot Foam, or Blinder Firefly are the ideal choices, but the Jammer Pulse is not a bad option. But one trigger galvanized but is super helpful when fighting bots. As a shield dependent, I found myself also clinging to my usual Crusader shield. As always, adapt the build and the equipment to better suit your playstyle. And the build is honestly very easy to play and just takes a few minutes to master the rhythm. And you'll be shocking more enemies than a WONY control point with all master of none modifiers. Thank you Hack and /89 for the electric firm handshake build request. I had a blast with this one. You'll see you in the next one. Fade out.